Hot Topics
Oh,
Talk Radio TV. We are live.
I think we
Yay!
on Hot Topics. I think we are.
Welcome to
Happy
the
Hump Day.
show, y'all. Welcome back.
It has
Thank you.
been too
How you
long.
guys doing?
Well, I
Miss
can
Yvonne.
almost see now.
Miss Yvonne, I see you too, girl. You go, girl. Looking good with yourself.
OMG.
And Miss Toni, I know it has been a long day, but you over that hump, okay? I'm glad you're getting over that hump, and tomorrow's Thursday. This week is almost over. Just
Now,
hang on in there.
my hump is Friday. Trust me. It has to
Oh, you
be
have
Friday.
another one coming.
Oh my gosh. I am just like over today.
Yeah.
I really am. So it's good to see you guys. Good to see you back.
Good to
Good
see
to
you
see you
guys.
as well.
Oh my gosh. So we got a couple of things. Well, we want to address one thing, the update on R. Kelly.
Kels.
So,
See,
okay. So Yvonne, I'm going to let you go ahead and do it. I got to go off camera for a moment. Okay. So
Okay.
go ahead and get it going. Go for it.
okay.
Yvonne, what the hell just happened?
I think Lyric wanted to get in on that topic.
Look, then brought in R. Kelly. He said, wait a minute. Hide your babies, hide your kids.
But no, you heard the latest about this woman raised
No.
$100,000.
Oh, yeah, so she's a
Bail.
business owner in
Yes.
Chicago.
Yes. Said that they were just friends. And
Yeah.
I mean, they must have been really, really good friends.
So from what I heard is she owns businesses and she does invest. So she was basically saying they are good friends and she
Okay.
believes in him. So that's why she fronted the money for him, because she wanted to make sure, he can get out and do the things that he needs to do. And, she's basically on that whole innocent until proven guilty, which, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Everybody was, we jumped on that bandwagon. They had the Lifetime shows. I mean, hell, if that wasn't Passion of the Christ for R. Kelly with that whole, I mean, they done put on, what was it, 7 shows or 4 shows? How many shows was it again?
I don't know, but
it was a lot, though.
It was a lot. But
so it's like, go ahead.
You know what? I will say this. I don't agree with what R. Kelly's done. Guilty until, innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But the brother, I mean, he can sing. The brother has, and I don't think I would stop listening to his music. Because
I have.
I haven't listened to it, but that's only because I haven't had that R. Kelly vibe going. I haven't been listening to it.
I'll be honest with you. I listen to music every single day. Like, music is my life. Like, when I'm in my office, I have music going in the morning. I listen to the Breakfast Club in the morning, kind of laugh at some of the things that's going on. But then throughout the rest of my day is music. And whatever zone I'm in, the artist will fit for that moment for me. And I've come across his albums or his name, and I'm like, man, I really want to play it. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like I want to see how this plays out, because you already know some of the details. I mean, we can't get past the sex tape. The sex tape was out a long time ago, but now they saying there's another one. So my thing
more
is,
graphic. You can see.
So my thing is, I wanna know how true that is, for one, because right now I think TMZ has it and CNN has it. So it kind of has it. And I'm not saying I need to see the tape, but what I'm saying is that I need to know that this ends up in court to know that it's valid. Because right now, you can't trust everything.
In court. I mean, the whole thing is going to end up in court.
Yeah.
Do I believe he needs to go to jail if he's found guilty? Most definitely.
Yeah.
But it's still, I'm still an R. Kelly fan.
Really?
I'm not.
Yeah. I'm still.
I'm not.
One thing is this man is sick. He is totally sick. Mm-hmm. And all of this, a lot of people say that, you know, your illness comes from childhood.
Yeah,
Well, I believe that.
I
I'm
agree.
a product of that.
Hmm.
So, but then there's some people can kind of overcome obstacles that happened in their childhood, and then there's just some it's grabbed them, and they
Yeah.
just can't let it go, and they
Hmm.
think that that's the right thing, or that's the normal thing to do, not the right thing, but the normal thing to do.
Yeah.
Even everybody's telling him, you need this is not right. You need to stop doing this.
But I'll be honest with you.
But then too, those
Okay.
parents,
Hmm.
they need to have those parents' asses in the court too,
I agree.
because
I
if
agree.
those parents had not allowed those kids to go, and you got all these parents, and I'm not gonna put a number on it, but all these girls that he has molested, these parents took them to him,
Yeah.
and it's like, here, do what you want to do, just make my child a star.
Yeah. And I mean, but to be honest with you, I mean, it's the music business. A lot of people try to do a lot of things to become famous. But I mean, I guess for me, I hear what you're saying because at the same time, it's kind of like you're a victim of your circumstances. So he grew up probably seeing certain things and not understanding. But we do have to say this man has gotten older and he knew what right and wrong was. So at the end of the day,
Yeah,
no
he
matter.
knows what's right and wrong. He knows what's right and wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not using his. I guess I'm not. I'm not. I don't know if I'm trying to use his illness as an
Well, to a certain
excuse
extent,
for
you want to
excuse.
sympathize for him because at the end of the day, you did get the background of his life and you want to
Yeah.
be more understanding on why he's doing it. And I hear that. Like I get that. But at the same time, we still can't take away the part grown man versus kids. So the funny thing is I had a conversation with somebody at my job and we were talking about just, as far as, well, there's a lot of men that like younger girls and stuff. We were trying to discuss like, well, what's younger and talking about ages as far as when you're in your 20s, late 20s, what's the youngest you should talk to. So we were talking about one of the girls and he goes, well, is she a kid? And we all fell out laughing because it's like, what the hell does that mean? Kid? At the end of the day, if you a kid, you a kid. It don't break it down to you got to be 12 to be a real kid, or it's like you are a child. So it's like at the end of the day, we don't want to make it seem or make excuses for him for his actions. And yes, and to be honest with you, what I hope to come out of this is not only that he gets in trouble, but some of the parents get in trouble. Some of the people that were on the road that knew certain things and were around these things, they get in trouble. Like I said, all those people on that documentary, thank you, because you exposed yourself. You were doing a lot of wrong things too, and you should be held accountable for that.
They should.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. All of them. Not just him by himself, because technically the parents and the people that was in his camp,
Mm-hmm.
they're all sex traffickers.
They're all guilty at this point.
They're all
Like I
guilty.
said, I think the funniest part was watching the security guards who actually kind of owned up to, yeah, we used to go get the girls for him. Like, he wouldn't directly go get them. Why? Because he knew he was doing wrong. So he would send them to go get these girls. So, like I said, everybody plays a part in this situation. I'm not listening to him only because I don't feel right about it anymore. I feel like, because I was one of those people at first. I said, you know what? It don't have nothing to do with the music. At the end of the day, the music is its own thing, and he does his own thing with his life. Because I used to tell people even about like Kobe Bryant in basketball, because big fan of his. That was one of my boys. It's like I grew up watching him. And everybody used to say, "Oh, when he raped that girl, you condoning that?" I'm like, no, I like his game on the court. I don't give a damn who he is outside of the court. I like his game on the court. So this one is a little bit different. I can't really feel that same way. I'm kind
Well,
of
this
He's a
like,
one,
pedophile.
this one, if he's
yeah,
convicted, is a whole lot different.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
I'm
it's
just in a different place
a
with
whole lot.
this one,
Yeah.
and I am all about innocent until proven guilty. Um, what I will say is what he's done is not something that's not common. It's very common. It happens on a day-to-day, and there are some cultures, or not cultures, but different levels of beliefs where they allow that kind of stuff. So my thing is, if you go after him, then you got to start also looking into all these other factors as well. But I think this time they're going to get him, because if they got Bill Cosby, they can get him too.
But I want to know though, because see, I really haven't been listening a lot to him.
Mm-hmm.
But there is there a statute of limitation on this, or is it
Well, I
the
thought the
statute?
the statute of limitation, I think, involves when it's an adult. You're talking about child abuse and sexual abuse against a child, a minor child.
Mm-hmm.
And when the evidence comes through, then the statute of limitations does not apply. That's because if that was the case, then you wouldn't have all of these other lawsuits and claims coming forth with, say, like we've heard of the things that are coming through the wire about Trump. The statutes, they're still talking about those cases, but they're not bringing them forth to the public like they should be. But the statute, there is no statute.
Well, they definitely can't call the witnesses that have already gone to court for this, so they're out. So
right. Well, yeah, because if they've signed a non-disclosure,
which they did.
Right.
So my thing is, what route are you going, and are you going to tell me that this is all because of the docuseries?
No, I don't think it's just because of that.
You don't?
I think it's more because the tapes that have come out since the docuseries, and the one that came out prior to it. What was it, 7 years ago? Mm-hmm. And they couldn't prosecute him at that time because they had no.
Well, the little girl and her family wouldn't come forward.
No,
right.
Not to mention they had a lot of other people lying too. So the funny thing is, he's still doing shows, right? They're slowly.
Well, it's dwindling. It's dwindling because if his money were coming in the way that we think it should be coming in, then it wouldn't be that he would have had a problem raising his bail. He had a problem coming up with his bail.
I thought he had a hold on his phone.
Oh, I don't know.
I want to say that they do, but what's funny is that he actually had upcoming shows. Like he had some shows around the Oscars or before. I think it was either the Grammys or the Oscars that they ended up canceling. And then he had an overseas shows he was supposed to do this, I think, this past weekend.
And the promoter had to cancel that.
Yeah, so I mean, they're slowly starting to really cancel him off, and I mean, it's the right thing to do.
Right. Well, Lisa Dancy said it is the Me Too movement. And you know what? I tend to agree with her because I think in conjunction with the Me Too movement, you've got the organization that has formed to stop R. Kelly.
Yeah.
And those are the people that are getting in front of some of these venues with his show dates. And they're deciding to not bring him into their cities or into their countries because I think it was either Philadelphia or Chicago had banned him from the state.
Chicago definitely banned him.
Yeah. So, now he's at a point that he can't make a living. Mm-hmm. So, but you know what?
Well, maybe his friend will get a job.
Shit, what friends?
The friend that loaned him $100,000 for bail.
So Lisa Dancy says that he lost a lot of money in lawsuits. That's a possibility. That is a huge possibility.
Not only, what was I going to say? But they were saying that she paid to get him out. So now they were talking about boycotting her businesses, which is so wrong. I don't care what you have to say. You can have your feelings on him, but at the end of the day, that's so wrong. Because you got to always understand, you're taking money out of this person's pocket, food out of somebody's mouth, and all she's doing is being a supportive friend. Regardless of who he is, there are some family members that are parents of murderers. But at the end of the day, that doesn't make them a bad person. So you got to take it with a grain of salt.
But you know what? He still has so many fans.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, it's like this man can do no wrong.
Well, let me ask you guys this, because can you still like his music, or can you support him in his music and not support what he's done, allegedly have done to children?
I wouldn't go out and buy anything new from him.
But you'll listen to it when it comes on the
That's because you're
radio.
black. You don't buy nothing that's
Oh,
music.
it's not even.
You know better than that. Stop trying to act like you buy music. When the last time you bought some music?
I pay to have music downloaded every day, every month.
And you telling the truth?
Of course. So I haven't downloaded any more of his music.
Okay.
But I still have some that's already on my phone. So
yeah.
But I don't, and I can't listen to. I can listen to the radio, but I can't listen to music in my vehicle because of the clients that I have.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like I said, I don't really know where I'm at with it. There's disgust. There's more of unsure of how I really feel about this whole situation. I think, like I said, I think the only thing I didn't like was you got to watch how people do things and try to persuade your mind to think and see things a certain way. I'm real big on not just being a follower because that's what's happening. So to me, when they did that whole series, I felt like they were really trying to warp your brain to believe this is who he is.
Railroading him in a way to make you believe.
Yeah, and I didn't like feeling like I was being trained to see him and to feel something about him that I honestly don't even know. I mean, we're literally taking other people's opinions, other people's stories, and basically making it valid. And we don't even know if these people are credible.
Yeah, so let me read this comment from Brandon, your baby, Yvonne.
Hey, Brandon.
Brandon says, and he wrote a long one, so I can't put it up because this is what happens. It covers everybody. So he says, while he does not condone his actions at all, as far as he understands, he's not accused of forcing these girls. And in some cases, the parents actually took their daughters to him. You know what? You're right. In some cases, the daughters were taken to the parents. But what I have a problem with, though, when we talk about the parents taking their children to this guy because they were so elated to be able to start a music career for their children. And a lot of people live through their children, or they use them for financial gain if they have a talent. So what I have a problem with is that in some instance, as a parent, and if you have followed music to the point that you want to introduce your child into the music industry, you'd have to be able to say, you know what, I'm hearing certain things. So let me look into it.
Okay.
I was in the industry for a long time. Okay. And certain instances when I was working with people who were underage, they were minors, I had all kind of backup. When these kids were going to studios, I was either with them or one of my associates was with them. They were never left alone in a room, in a booth, or anything at all, in a studio or otherwise. Yeah. Because they become my responsibility as management, right? So I have a problem when you say a parent took their child and released them without supervision.
Let me go in and tell you something. All you doing is watching these parents be another Kris Jenner. She did it to her own children. She has done it for years. And guess what? She capitalizes every day. So at the end of the day, it's like you can judge those parents, but guess what? If you did it the way Kris Jenner did it, it was a true success. And, like I said, these parents, because you remember, like you said, you've been in the industry for a long time. So, there are certain positions that you're actually put in to make it to the next level. I mean, hell, look at how many situations they're putting black men in now to do gay scenes or kiss men. And you have to do that. If you don't do it, they will.
Then you don't have a job.
Right. The stupid thing is, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know. A lot of these upcoming artists and actors and actresses are put in tough positions, especially for a black male that's not gay.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
put in a tough position where it's like, who runs the whole Hollywood scene? You already know. So it's like,
Mhm.
you're either gonna be okay with this, or you'll continue to do low budget movies. You can go ahead and go
Right.
straight to Netflix movies,
Right.
because that's all
Right.
you'll be doing if you don't do what we want.
Yeah. Because we saw a
Yeah.
lot as Black women, and a lot of times those advances came to us, to introduce us to certain people or to have
Entertain
a
certain
larger.
groups of people.
Exactly. Parties, listening parties, watch parties, all these things, so we were around a lot of that,
Yeah.
lot of it. So I just don't understand how a parent, I understand how the parent wants the child to be successful. I don't understand how they use them for their own financial gain. And I certainly don't understand how they can take a child and drop them off.
Well, for one, we talking about the studio. How long are you in the studio? Come on now, Toni. It's not an hour.
No, it's not. And that's what I was going to
hours.
say. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's not where you can drop a track in an hour.
And just go home.
No, it's not done. You can go into a studio at 5:00 p.m. and don't come out until the next night.
Exactly.
You
So you think
and
these parents gonna be
studios are
sitting up there?
set
They
up
got jobs.
so they have, back rooms and couches that are already set up there. You've got back rooms, you've got kitchens, you've got bathroom facilities, you've got everything that there is to be able to function as a
We'll put
human
it like
being
this, Toni.
in a home kind of setting.
You're talking about you're not even talking about an artist that's on R. Kelly's level. So can you even imagine what the studio scene is like for somebody on that level?
Trust me.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've seen it.
I have not seen nothing like that. I've seen regular artists
No.
where you know what I'm saying, we got a little coffee room, little break room where we have some food and alcohol and all that stuff. But I mean, I'm not talking like a whole home setting.
Yeah. I've seen it many times.
Yeah.
Many a times. And you have back rooms where, these guys in the studio can take these girls in the back and have sex with them. You have sex parties and all that stuff going on. These are studios. These are high level studios.
Yeah. What was you doing? I'm just
what do you mean was I doing?
Look, I threw you off with that one.
I wasn't doing shit.
I said,
money.
what was you doing? Yvonne was like,
making my money, making sure tracks were laid the right way. So shit is
Yvonne, she was making sure they was laid right. You know what happens when you get laid.
No, I can't remember.
Oh my God. But yeah, it's one of those scenes that, you've got several different layers. When we're talking about the entertainment industry, and especially when you're talking about the music industry or the recording industry, there's several different layers to, the levels of what you can obtain in a studio, who you can obtain. So, people just don't understand that, and they think that, oh, that's cool to be in a studio all the time.
Yeah.
No, the shit you see go on in studio will make you just crazy. Yeah. It really will, because you sit there and you say, well, I don't condone that, but you've already dumped, 5-10 grand into a project. You got to sit there and see that project goes through, and then you got to put a blind eye up to everything else that's going on in the background.
Yep.
It's crazy as hell. It's crazy as hell.
Yeah, Brandon was telling me that Jussie Smollett and R. Kelly was side-by-side rooms.
Well, you know what? They said that R. Kelly did have relationships with men.
They did.
Well, no, he was saying that, well, yeah, they said that. But he was saying that they were talking about cutting an album together.
That would have been the dumbest thing he could have did. But no, I take that back. I take that back. He already did the dumbest thing he could have ever did.
I know. I cannot believe that this boy would do what he did.
That shit was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
But let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you this. So when you first, and I'm going to get to your comment in a second, September and Brandon. So when you first heard the news, when it flashed over social media that Jussie Smollett had been assaulted, and it was, well, they said it was an alleged hate crime. I think all of us had, like, the hairs on the back of our neck stood up because it was already mentioned that a rope was tied around his neck, and the hairs on his neck stood up, and they're thinking, well, how can they say allegedly a hate crime when it was already said that it was a noose tied around his neck? So how did you guys feel when that news broke?
Well, I mean, I didn't hear all that until later. About the noose. But,
Okay.
You know, I thought it was, I mean, I believed it happened. And then when he said that it was the attackers hollered, "Mega, make America great again," I'm like, that's typical.
Here we go. Yeah.
So, but then when I saw but see, now that film that they showed, I saw a different film. They showed two guys walking together, and one of the guy on the left side, he was on the street side. He went and pointed to something. His hand was white. It was not black.
I think that was the resolution of the camera.
As black as they are,
well, you got to look at it. You got to look at it also. You're talking about pixelation.
See why black people talk about home too. As black as they were.
Well, I mean, they're from Africa. They are black.
But you got to think about if I did this, and the pixelation was further back, black and white, my hand is going to look white. See?
Well, even the way you did it right now, because of the light, it reflects off.
Right.
Your palm is pink. They show the back of his hand. The back of his hand. When the guy pointed up towards that was a white hand. That wasn't a pixelation.
But it's black and white though. The film is black and white.
Look, I may be black, but goddamn it, I ain't colorblind.
Yvonne, what were you looking for? Color? You wanted to see the color, bro?
No, you know what? No, I wasn't looking for anything. It was when they showed the picture of these two guys walking down the street, and the guy pointed up towards the sky or towards something up above him. His hand looked white. Now I can't.
Now, Toni,
looking for anything.
Yvonne, was it before or after what just went down these last couple of weeks? Because you know we can't trust what Yvonne saw before 2 weeks ago.
I don't know. I know what I saw.
OMG.
I'm messing with you.
I'm not disputing what the evidence has brought up. But
see, this is my thing. When I first heard it, the thing that I thought was weird was, and Toni, you can maybe testify to this as well, as a star or as someone that is a mainstream artist or actor or actress, when they're normally out and about, they don't go out by themselves.
No, they don't.
When he said he was out to get something to eat or something like that, to me, that was very weird because they never go out by themselves. They always have a friend. They always have a tag along. Or hell, they send someone to get it. So the fact that he said he was already by himself at that time of night, it just sounded real fishy.
Well, I thought maybe he needed to get away, a break.
But I'm going to say this because it's not it's unusual for mainstream artists, whether it's music or film or television. It's unusual for a mainstream artist to frequent somewhere or anywhere in public by themselves. Right. However, a lot of times they will go out late at night because they are less recognizable.
Right.
Yeah, there's not that many people out on the
street.
But
hold on.
morning.
But walking?
Yeah.
Seriously? Walking? Yeah. They might drive somewhere, but
yeah.
be
But
walking?
we're talking about New York. We're talking about New York. And in some places in New York, the lighting is really dark. It's bad. It's not heavy traffic going on in some areas. And depending on where his residence was, if it was like off to the side in the city somewhere, he wouldn't have heavy traffic. And if there was like a corner store, a liquor store, or a diner or something like that, that's not in heavy traffic in a very public place, you know, where everybody's frequenting, then yes, he could get away with walking from his building to that corner store. He could get away with that. That's what they do.
My thing is, you if you're from LA, you understand what goes on out here. And the reason why I say that is because even just being younger and hanging out, being on the scene for like the Grammys and the awards and all that kind of stuff, usually situation guys are always looking for guys like that as, you know, somebody they can rob. That happens at almost every award show. Somebody gets robbed out here every single time because that's what they're waiting on. So my thing is, from him being from LA, I find it kind of weird that he would be out and about on his own. I just thought it was weird. That was just what I thought the moment I heard about it. I was just like, well, that's weird, because most of the time when guys do something, they're out with at least a friend or something. So I thought it was weird. I didn't think that it didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, and Lisa had said, she's, you know, Bold Print, Chicago. Stop yelling at me, Lisa. I know where it was. I'm just giving
when you said New York, look,
no,
I was like,
it's an example. I was using it as an example, you know, because they don't necessarily live in populated areas. And that's what I was trying to allude to. So yeah, I know Chicago.
But that's Chicago though. Everybody hanging out at 2 o'clock in the morning in Chicago.
No, unless you're going out to shoot
somebody. Depends somewhere where he was living. I'm sure he wasn't living in the ghetto.
Yeah, well, September says that he said he was going to Subway to get a sandwich.
Okay.
Anyways, my thing is this though.
When I heard it, I didn't think anything of it. He just went out to go get a sandwich because maybe he was working late.
I'm going off camera.
I mean, maybe he was just working.
So my thing is, how embarrassing is that? Because now, and this is what I took from it, because once everything started rolling out and everything started coming out about what really happened, it started getting to the point where I'm like, I hate to give people ammunition. Like, and when I mean by people, I mean other races. Like especially the white race when it comes to, and I don't mean all the white race. I mean the I believe in Trump and everything he says, and I don't think people are racist. Those people that say ignorant, dumb things like that.
I thought about that.
It just basically it discredits everything now.
I'm talking about the same thing, because I'm like, okay, we got, you know, here we had R. Kelly with his bullshit. Now we got Jussie with his. And I'm like, okay, this is giving us a bad reputation. You know?
Well, my thing is, and not on the reputation part, it was more like,
well, you know,
a lot of injustice that's happening on a day-to-day. So now with what he did, it almost makes that you have to question it now. Like, you can't just believe.
Exactly.
Stuff. Now you just believe. Because before, that sounds good. That's the type of stuff that's consistent that happens in this neighborhood. Now, you almost have to step back and say, well, I don't believe it. Let's see if it really did. That's what I was like.
Chris.
So I have a son.
Chris.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We hear you like you're in a can.
Something's going on.
And he
Am I good now?
Well, first of all, I can't tell if you're frozen on my side. What I want you to do is I want you to get off and then come back in.
Toni messing up. Toni.
No, I'm not. Stop.
Hey, here comes the shit. You told us about the shit earlier. Now I see we starting to get to the shit.
Yeah, I told you earlier before we got on air, everything I touched today turned to shit. It really did.
Yeah.
It really honestly did.
No, but I was saying though, it's like you got to question it.
Go out and come back in.
Come back.
Okay, I'm out.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where you guys work. And I do have to apologize to everybody. My son came in and he had to pick up some stuff and he said, okay, I'm out. And now, you know, I had to get off camera. So you guys
I'm back.
see my business. Well, thank you, sir.
Am I good?
I guess.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
But you can see me?
You're pixel.
You're pixelated.
What did you?
And yeah. Oh my God. Don't you just like fucking with Chris? Hey Malcolm, how you doing? Good to see you. So let me say hello to everybody while Chris is trying to get his pixelation ass together. What's going on, Miss Lisa? Thank you for joining in. And of course, we have Brandon Smith. That is Yvonne Baker's baby.
That's my
baby boy. And of course, Malcolm just joining us, Miss September. Good to see you as well. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying it. We're enjoying your comments. You can always make sure to follow us here on Facebook so that you can always come on back for the shows every Wednesday. Let's get Chris back in here. All right, let's see what he's doing now.
Am I good? Am I good? Like, look, the funny thing is you get to talking all quiet, but I can actually see you and hear you talking before it goes live.
Oh, whatever.
Why is she acting like I can't hear her all of a sudden?
Well, technically, I can only see your nose from their nose down.
But you are on camera. It's on it.
Okay.
What's up, Stephanie? What's going on, my sister? Yeah, I can see you. Stop. There he goes with that can again. What is going on with you, Chris?
What happened?
You froze.
You're frozen.
You made it again.
And you sound like you're in a can.
You're pixeled.
How the hell I've been sounding good all this time? Now all of a sudden y'all
can
hear
so.
Says me, the man on the show.
He didn't pay the phone bill. He didn't pay his internet bill. That's what that shit is.
Hey, don't start that Richard shit.
He paid for the economy service.
So how about now? Are we good?
It's the same. It's the pixelation.
Oh my God. What is going
on? Oh, and see, and Brandon is a tech guy. He said, oh, damn. He just left. Brandon said, sounds like a packet lost too.
A packet?
I don't know. I guess that's what. Try that. That's the cable guy coming out. LOL. Oh my God.
Understand cable.
OMG. Lisa says, I'm really enjoying the show. Lisa, thank you so much. We're enjoying you. We're enjoying you. We love to see your comments, but we wanted to be able to,
Weren't you going to say something? I think Miss September and Brandon has put something before we change to Jussie.
I don't know.
Oh, never mind.
We're talking about what, 30 minutes ago, 40 That memory and train has left the station.
I said I can't see. I didn't say I didn't remember.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so what do you think while Chris is trying to get it together? What do you think? what do you think should happen at this case? Because you know what, let me preface this before you answer. And the reason why I asked the question is because before we even thought to do tonight's show, I had said to myself I wasn't going to participate in the negativity against this young Black man. I just didn't want to do it because we see so many negative things that happen or that is produced by white men and people of other races and things like this. But as soon as we see that a Black man has fallen and he's made a mistake, we're ready to put the memes up. We're ready to put, all of these slogans up about he's a bad person and fuck Jussie and all of this. See, I wasn't going to be a part of that because there, I think, is an underline of I think there's an underline of the transition of something going on in his career to the point of him being able to come up with this, plan that he had been attacked. So what do you think should be done at this point with the charges that they have stuck him with?
You know what? With all this mess that's going on now, this is just a drop in the bucket. And I don't think, and it could be because I've been watching Jussie. His roles are they'll fall off and then they'll come back. They fall off and they'll come back. So I really think that the writers were going to write him out anyway. But I think probably what it was because he came out on the show pretty much. Mostly he came out with Ellen, but and I think a lot of his his followers, although he is an attractive young man, kind of lost interest when they found out that he's actually gay. So now he's trying to think of something. It's like a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
So he's trying to think of something that will bring his popularity back. And what better way to bring that popularity up is to be in a racial incident.
Well, he tried to go big though. He took it racial and then he even talked.
He used what was the big negative right now in our time, which involves white supremacy, the president of the United States, and all of these movements that
he tried to put them all in one.
Yeah,
he wanted it to be racial, be about gay rights, all.
And see, the thing is that he's a speaker for the
LGBTQ.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said it because I don't know it. I almost said the LGB. I just said the LGB, and I don't even know the acronyms for it.
All of those acronyms. He's a supporter of it.
Right.
It's just, and I don't know. Maybe he had been drinking, and he's like, "Oh, got this bright idea. You know what?"
Well, hold on, no, hold on.
No, I don't.
Because okay, so he went from an idea, right? He went from an idea to sending himself almost like ransom letters with the letters cut out, and okay. So was he drunk from the time that
allegedly?
But see, that's the thing, because I kind of heard you guys a little bit as I was trying to get my ass back on the show.
Dang, Chris, that don't look like your ass right there. That looks like your mouth.
Anyways.
I'm sorry.
So what you have to understand, and this is why it's hard to feel sorry for him. I mean, he really tried to play this up. I mean, they have the breakdown of the whole situation. So, I mean, he literally, like you said, started sending ransom letters to himself. I mean, what did he think he was in Whitney Houston movie? He started cutting out and sending shit to himself. I mean, the next thing that was going to happen was some flowers was going to come to his dressing room and a bomb was going to go off.
Oh, my God.
But anyways, so it's like not only that, he goes on Good Morning America. Now we all know how
I know.
publicly known that show is, and how
Exactly.
everybody. So whatever's on there is usually very credible. So at the end of the day, he goes on there and he's like, he's selling you. And one thing you got to understand is the man is an actor. So he's putting on the show for you. And a lot of people fell for it. Like I said, it was shiftiness in the whole story. And like I said, it's not to say that I didn't believe there were some weird spots in this, just like the police thought, and just like a lot of people thought. So the bottom line is, I'm not going to feel sorry for him because, like I said, to me, I look at it like this. I have an African-American son. You have now made it harder for my son in the neighborhood that he lives in. If he ever comes home and says, I was jumped by some blah, 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 it's not going to just be believable because guess what? This situation right here now makes everything not credible. And that's the part that does to me about it.
It does. It puts a thorn in the side when we talk about, are we going to believe the next person that claims to have been violated or assaulted, and it was, racially motivated. So, I mean, because we've already had a hard time with proving hate crimes, especially against Blacks. That's always been a hard thing to prove. Well, we know as hell, you can have a cross in your yard and the cops come out and say, well, prove it.
Right.
And that's it. We have never been believed on assaults. If somebody come up and assault us, okay, well, did you get a good look at him? Well, well, where'd he go? Or how did he go? How did he get here? I mean, we're bombarded with questions on how to make these people believe that we have been assaulted. So it's no difference from that and this. Is it going to be a little bit harder? Yeah, it's going to be a little bit harder. But then,
so did you guys hear that Empire wrote him off? He's not going to be on the last 2 shows.
No, he's gone.
Yeah.
But the thing is that if you have a child that comes up and says that he's been assaulted, I'm pretty sure that they're not going to disbelieve this child because of what Jussie did.
Well, like I said, I mean, you're basically looking at something where
you don't know.
With credibility.
Well, white people don't believe.
So where's
they have?
They not.
Not all white. Not all white.
Clean that up.
Let me clarify.
Hey, you try to clean that up real quick. Look, she said I gotta go to work.
She had to go to the side of her camera and go, well,
hey, you gonna take your ass to work tomorrow. People's gonna be looking at you a little sideways.
You know what? No. Because you know what? I'm a Black woman. I can handle mine.
So my sister Stephanie says, so the bottom line is that Jussie fucked up.
He definitely did.
Exactly, he did. But I mean, he is getting, he's being charged with lying to the law enforcement. But damn, they lie to us. They all
day every day.
Yeah.
So we got politicians lying to us every day.
They have the nerve to have theirs written on their car: serve and protect.
So Malcolm says that Empire doesn't pay their actors or actresses well anyways. So
I mean, probably not, but the exposure is great.
Right, yeah. But okay, let me see if I can put it in perspective. Okay, so Jussie is not at the caliber of Terrence Howard.
No.
Would you
agree?
Not at all. Yeah.
He's not at the caliber of Taraji P. Henson. Okay, but he is making upwards of $60,000 per episode.
Okay,
I would say yeah.
Okay, so wouldn't you feel blessed if you had not had the caliber or the stature that these two actors are that you are playing side by side with to get $60,000 per episode? Your average person or average actor is not on a primetime show.
Right.
And
I'll be honest, I think fame really got to a lot of their heads because, to be honest with you, this show blew up so quick.
It did.
And how they've done this show, even with the great music that they have to support it,
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think that they had no idea this show would be as huge as it is. I mean, who would have thought that you would even be having a conversation about this kid? I mean,
exactly.
outside of the show. Most of the time when you're talking about a person from a show,
you use their show name.
Yeah, you're using their show name. Exactly.
Exactly.
So it's like at the same time, I honestly think that it pretty much got bigger than what even they thought, and it went to their heads. I mean, like I said, he really tried to sell it by not only using the racial part, but throwing the gay part in it as well. I mean, he tried to embody both of those together, and he screwed himself.
Yeah.
So he's not credible at all as a person anymore. So,
do you think that his acting career is in the toilet?
It's going to take a definite hit. He'll do a lot of B-list movies and things like that, but he'll be written off of Empire for sure.
Yeah.
But do you think
because he's going to go to jail?
Yeah, okay. But okay, and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad you said that. Why is it that he can easily be sentenced and prosecuted and then made to have served time in jail and not get a slap on the wrist when you've got other people who are in the music industry, actors or whomever, who have committed such more heinous crimes, who do not get even a slap on the wrist?
So I'll tell you like my dad told me. I'll tell you like my dad told me, because as Black people, we are examples. We set the tone. We set the trend. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just telling you how it goes. For some reason, we get more attention than other races. And at the end of the day, when we do things, it gets magnified higher than anybody else. Because I know somebody else brought up another actor that did something. Oh, the Olympic gold medalist that lied. And
Michael, Michael, whatever. Yeah.
So at the end of the day,
well, he did the same thing. He lied.
Right, but guess what? Do you even know his last name? Do you even know what he's doing right now?
Michael
you know
Phelps.
More about Jussie.
He's making commercials.
But you know more about Jussie than you know about him at this point.
Well, I mean,
Michael was like, how many years ago this happened with him?
This was only maybe about 7-8 years ago. Maybe no, it wasn't even that long.
No, it was longer than that. No, it was about one. It was 2 Olympics ago.
Yeah.
So, but this is my thing though. Even with that guy in his top or his prime, outside of the Olympics, would you have really known him as well as how Jussie is in the limelight?
No, because
he's in different things.
because the publicity is different. The platform is different.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that, and granted, they're 2 different genres as far as different things that they do. Right. What I'm saying is that we pretty much get more attention than other races. So at the end of the day, what we do gets magnified. This was such a huge thing. I know everybody would love to see, or there are some people that would love to see him get a slap on the wrist, and it's like, okay, just don't do it again. But this was such a big thing, and he tried to sell it so hard. You got to go down for it, bro. You did too much.
But then too, you have to realize too, he's really got 2 strikes against him. He's Black and he's gay.
He's gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have some people that won't agree with that, but it is.
But that's the way that's the world we live in. Mm-hmm. That is the world that we live in.
You know, you've got the LGBTQ people. And I'm sorry, I don't say
Yvonne, you shouldn't even say it no more, okay?
Okay. So since he's got
be a little bit more respectful.
Since he's got, there's a gay community.
Put some respect on the name.
Gay communities all over. So people should be used to seeing, homosexuality all over the place. But it's still not accepted.
Not in all places.
Yeah.
No. And with him being Black, gay, and an actor, he's fair game. Hung from a tree.
Yeah. So, hey, Dana Butler, how are you? Glad to see you. Why you come in here at 2 minutes before we get off here? So Dana said,
look. it's like, dang, why you got to complain?
I know.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you. Please come again. Damn.
I'm the one that's having a bad day, you guys. Okay, I'm telling you, my day.
Don't make Dana have one.
Huh?
Don't make Dana have a bad day.
So Dana said that she had heard that 50 Cent has offered him a position on Power.
Was off. Is he
that show's still doing good.
No, but does 50 Cent produce the show or have some kind of Okay.
So I'll tell you like this, it wouldn't surprise me because at the end of the day, it's almost like you can kind of see the writing on the wall. Like I said, they already wrote him off the last 2 shows. I can imagine they're going to do something to write him off the show. And I mean, the show was already kind of going in that direction. I haven't watched it in a while, but the show was already kind of going in that direction anyways, because you see them putting people in I think at the end of every final episode, somebody dies. So, I mean,
yeah.
You can kind of see the writing on the wall. They're going to end up getting rid of him. And, I mean, do you blame them?
No, because it brings bad publicity to the show.
Oh, yeah.
And then it says to the writers, or to the executive producers who have actually backed the show, because it's a lot of money in this stuff.
Yeah.
But it says that they are condoning the behavior. They're condoning that he would lie on another group of people, whether they agree with their platform of white supremacy or whatever the case may be. It says that they condone the behavior. So they don't have a choice but to let him go. Because if they didn't, that is when the sponsors and people who have put their money and backed their project, it basically, it tanks. And that's when the show would then be canceled. So they didn't have.
He's not worth it.
No.
Actually, what
he ain't worth it.
He ain't worth it, boo-boo.
They should write that in a couple of the scenes.
What'd you say?
They should write it in the thing.
What?
Him getting him put no, because then they're basically like mocking him. Oh my God,
Yvonne, they just want to kick him off the show. They don't want to destroy his career. Damn. I mean, shit. The brother did wrong. I mean, we're not trying to hang him after. I mean, we just want to make him, they spanking him. They saying, "You're out of here, sir."
Oh my gosh.
Spank on the hand. No, I was.
Oh my gosh.
Popped in my head. I just, I know. No.
Oh my God.
You went with that too. I was good tonight, so I ain't gonna let you corrupt.
Hey, you know what? I say whatever.
In the name of Jesus. Hey, you see how that shut it all down? Hey, did you see how she shut down?
Look, that wasn't right?
In the name of Jesus.
So y'all playing. Let's back up. Because if lightning strike, I don't want to be nowhere else.
I'm going to tell you like this, Yvonne. Me and God have a conversation every single day because he knows I'm scared. So,
yeah,
but
he's assured me that I'm okay. These is jokes.
I promise you. Oh my gosh.
So hold on. So real quick. So is he going to jail?
I don't think he's going to go to jail.
Okay.
I think that he'll get probation.
Okay.
Because they haven't said anything whether or not it was a first offense, and then it's not like
Actually, I did hear something about he did something a little while back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but there was something that he.
That's what happens when you get old people on the show and they
Yvonne just dropped some.
Because I did it earlier. I'm like, shit, what did I say? Because Yvonne was like, because when you went off, she was like, weren't you going to say something? I'm like, I don't know.
Hey, that's what you get for talking shit. Got to show it. Hey, that karma came. Hey, Yvonne said, yeah, because he did something a long time ago. I don't know what he did.
No,
I don't know what he did.
I
he
heard
did something.
Some type of run-in with the law enforcement, but I don't know.
See,
Yvonne, you got to do it like this. You got to Google. See, we keep this right in front of us. So You can't drop knowledge.
Oh, so now, okay. See, we need Lisa we need people like Lisa on the show because Lisa said he used his brother's name. So at least he's giving us.
Lisa.
You got her off that cliff. She was getting ready to fall.
No, I wasn't gonna fall. I know I heard that something had happened before. Where
I'm gonna be honest with you, Yvonne. You was hanging off that cliff, and me and Toni was laughing. Lisa said, "Come on, girl, I got you."
Yeah, me and Chris was like, I hope somebody save her.
That's all right.
Look, I had to talk to some of the people on the show and say, "You got to Google." Google.
I'm on my tablet.
Oh my God. So you guys, that ain't funny. Because see, I'm having an eyelash problem. It's like, oh my God. Oh, you know what? We are over time.
We started late.
No, we did. We started what, a minute late?
Look, we started like 4 or 5 minutes late. What was y'all watching?
Serious?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I won't make them feel like that tonight. But it was like 8:04, 8:05. Roll back the tape and you'll see it. But I'm not gonna keep going because I love these women and I don't want them to not have me next week. So stay tuned for when you get old and you lose your memory. That's the next show topic.
Hey, we are a living example.
Chris, have you?
Yes.
Do you read sign language?
Oh shit!
Read sign language.
Say no.
Yep. No, look. I'll show you.
Is that on camera?
Look. I'll show you the one that makes me laugh. No. I'll show you the one that makes me laugh. One of my boys did this the other day. Somebody pissed him off, and he was like, "It's the fact that he snapped and did it." That shit has been the running joke for me for like almost a month now. It's still.
How many times have you used it?
A lot.
Oh shit!
No, but there was another one too this week.
What do you do?
This one lady walked into a room this week and said, da 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 da. But I was a little far from her, so I thought she walked in the room and said, "Don't give a fuck." So I told them that's going to be my intro in some of the rooms that I enter.
Oh my gosh! Oh, MJ! Oh, it was fun, you guys.
I had a great time tonight.
As always, fun. So, before we go, I'm going to just mention that at the beginning of the show, before we came on air, we were talking about the Cohen testimony today. The hearing in front of the House committee. So I think it's important that what.
Chris started laughing when
he
had that little lapse of memory.
I was trying to be good. She was like, in that little house. Wrench around and wrench it off. Baby, go on your mama nightgown.
I can't stand you right now. I can't. Oh my God, but
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so if next week, if we don't have Real World News TV come back and talk about the Cohen testimony, do you guys want to do that? Because you know what, I can actually see some developing news happening around the hearings.
I agree.
So you're just trying to get a double dose of politics, aren't you?
Hey, I got to get my fix. I got to get my fix.
Yvonne, that mean we can't bullshit our way through next week's show. We got to actually do some research.
You got to read.
You got to read this week. Ain't no just getting on the show. You got to know what you're talking about.
Chris got to read. Chris has got to read. What did you say?
You're the one that didn't know.
No, I did. Look, why you put me out there like that? Chris, you're the one that
that's
didn't
what
know.
Happened.
Chris,
I'll be working.
Chris.
We do too.
I got kids.
We do too.
Thank
They not babies. Get out of here. Your kids is grown with kids.
He's my baby. I have a grandbaby.
You got a grandbaby?
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch your grandbaby today?
I watched her over the weekend.
Congratulations, weekend grandma. Okay, look, I went too far. I apologize. Anyways.
Chris, you have something dripping down your neck.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you like
this. I put my foot in his neck.
It's baby milk.
It's baby's milk.
Yeah.
I'll tell you like this, Yvonne.
Oh shit! Why'd you do that?
I waited all show. I was good. I kept it cool the whole time. But I'll tell you like this. If you keep on messing with me, it's going to be something dripping from somewhere else and it ain't going to be on your neck.
I am done. I am done. You are done.
You are done, Toni. This whole show is done. Y'all make me act crazy. I don't even understand why we still talking about this.
If I didn't know my son was still on there, I'd tell you something.
That's right. You better be good. Because look, you know, sons, when sons get older, they start whooping their mamas too.
No, I ain't.
No, they don't.
Hold on. Then why'd you laugh at first? I said they be whooping their mamas. You was like,
I stopped because I heard what you said.
Not even.
Now.
Now.
He might come and try and whoop your ass.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Oh my God.
I got 3 boys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You better understand something. Look, he listening too. You better listen. Don't let your mama talk you into some shit you won't want to be in.
He's only saying
I'm just messing with you. Keep sending comments. We have fun with you tonight.
We don't know what never mind.
See, that's what happens. Women start all the trouble. All the men be trying to do is be good. Women start all the trouble. You gotta watch these ladies, fellas. Watch them. They laugh and they smile like everything is all good. Damn it, you had the police after your ass after they done with you. Ask Bill Clinton.
Anyway, so Jacqueline says, where is this show going? Nowhere.
It's just bullshit, that's all.
Absolutely nowhere, Jacqueline. You know why? Because Chris decides to do whatever he wants to do at the end of the show, and he antagonizes Yvonne.
And what that say about y'all? Because y'all sit there and listen to me.
Hey, Toni, you know who he reminds me of?
Oh, God, who?
Pastor Ray.
No.
I'm going to tell you like this, though.
No.
The fact that you can refer to me and a pastor, that's some scary stuff.
No. Cut loose at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Overtime?
Yeah, he did.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you like this. Is that your church?
Whose church?
Whoever that pastor is.
He was on our show.
He was what?
He was on one of the shows.
Oh, tell him to keep it going. I'm proud of him. He keep hope alive and keep the congregation coming in. Pass the offering plate as many times as you need.
Thank y'all for coming.
It's time to go. It's time to go.
Yeah, because you know this conversation can go real crazy.
It's done.
And God had a conversation this morning, and I want to make sure I don't piss him off.
Forever.
Okay, Toni, close us out.
Okay, so you've been tuned in to Hot Topics Talk Radio with me, Yvonne Baker, and Chris Smith. Come on back here next week on Wednesday night, 8:00 p.m. Pacific, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook under Hot Topics Talk Radio and catch up on past shows on YouTube under Hot Topics Talk Radio Network. How's that?
That was beautiful. Stay tuned for my post show on Facebook. It's going to be a nice little recap. I'm going to talk a lot of shit about these ladies. I love them, but I got to talk a lot of shit. So please stay tuned. Jump on my Facebook. It's going down. Thank you for coming tonight.
My sister Steph says, night, y'all.
Night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here next week on Wednesday. Good night.
Good night, ladies.
Oh. Hot Topics Talk Radio Network. Got that wrong. Hot Topics Talk Radio TV. We are now clear. Have a great rest of your week and a fantastic weekend, everybody. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Good night.